This is CRAVE News Money with Kent Emmons.
Even in this economy, there is a lot of money to be made. With record unemployment and the chances of the job market coming back not looking so hot, it may be seriously time for you to consider starting your own business. Joining me now is Franchise Marketing Systems CEO Chris.Conner. Being America's top franchise guy, Chris is a great guy. He's a ton of fun, and he's helped thousands of people launch their own businesses and make great money, even in crazy economic times like this.
You know, there's a lot of people out of work right now, and those jobs are not coming back, even when they open the economy back up. Joining me right now, a good buddy of mine, the founder and CEO of Franchise Marketing Systems, Chris.Conner from fabulous Lake Lanier, Georgia. Chris, great to have you with us, man.
Great to be here. Thanks, Kent.
So, you know, a lot of these jobs, they're not coming back, and a lot of people are looking for the next move. A lot of people are going to entrepreneurialism and starting their own business. You're the kind of the go-to guy for that. I've known you for 100 years, and you're a guy that has made a lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses and created a lot of millionaires. What's going on down there? Are you getting a lot of phone calls?
We have been, and we went through this with the last downturn, Kent, where you have a bad economy or job losses and companies going through tough times. People get pushed into entrepreneurship, and being in the franchise business, franchising in a lot of ways is like entrepreneurship with a safety net. So someone who hasn't been in business before, they might end up looking at franchises as a way to get into business for themselves. And because there might not be opportunities that were there when the market was good, they now can justify the risk of starting their own business. So we've been busy, and I think that's only going to get busier as things go along here.
I know you've got a lot of big opportunities or opportunities you can start pretty small and work up to, and I want to get to that. I know that there's a lot of success going on there right now. First, I want to ask you, so the audience gets to know you a little bit, how did you get in this business?
So I took a job with a company. I mean, there's not any real big, sexy story behind it. I was young, out of school, worked for a couple of different companies, Wyndham Hotels, Wilson Sporting Goods, and they were jobs. I had no passion for them. Went to work for a buddy of mine's grandfather who had been in the business as the lowest level entry position you could get, but got a chance to work with some startup companies. So I was part of the team that helped put together Jimmy John's and Culver's and some brands that really took off. And what I immediately felt a connection to was entrepreneurship. I love small business entrepreneurship. It clicked for me. First time in my life, this was almost 20 years ago, I found I had passion for what I did and fell in love with the business. And franchising is this great vehicle for entrepreneurship.
Well, you know, again, I've known you for a long time, and I've watched you take people from, you know, I call them a wage slave. You know, they're stuck there at their job. They're wanting to get out of their job. They're trying to figure it out. What are some of the great stories you've had where you've taken people, they've started, you know, with a franchise, you've matched them up with a franchise that kind of fits their personality or fits their budget, their startup budget and stuff? What are some of those things that some of the cool stories you recall?
I've been able to work with some great companies and some brands like Jimmy John's that have turned into just home run success stories. Really been able to recognize how this model can work effectively. But there's also one of the real fun parts about what I do is I get to see some innovative ideas, some wacky off-the-wall ideas. And you had asked me, had I ever worked with any strip clubs or anything? I worked with a sex club once, believe it or not. You could franchise a sex club where you get a membership to go.
So you were telling me before you've had some insane pitches. So you've had so you had sex clubs, strip clubs. What kind of pitches do you get in your business that are just crazy?
Anything you can imagine. I mean, we had one where you rent out chimpanzees and you dress them up as like a theme for a party.
Was that part of the sex club franchise or a whole different thing?
You could combine them. You definitely could. And then there was another one where you rented goats to clean out your yard, and you rope off your yard and they eat everything, like trees, bushes, everything. It's like a landscaping thing. I guess one of the really fun parts about what I do is I get to see the furthest extent of innovation and creativity. And this sex club one is a good example of it. This is a plumber from Buffalo, New York. He and his family moved to Vegas. I guess they had a passion for sex clubs or something, and started this business. the whole family's running it for like 15, 20 years. It's a great business model. And yes, you can franchise a sex club. So it's fun to be able to see these ideas.
How do you go from Subway to sex clubs? That's insane. That is nuts. Now, I know right now, of course, you got the shutdown. You got everybody running around. They're afraid of the coronavirus. You've got a couple of franchises that you'd mentioned that sound really interesting. They're relatively low cost to get into, but it looks like they could build some pretty big businesses. What are you seeing in that area?
So it's definitely one of the really interesting things that's happening now, because I don't know if anyone has something you can use for what's happening right now with coronavirus as a reference. It's hard to draw anything that you could say like, oh, well, I remember when this happened back in 2008 or 9. It hasn't. It's a unique situation being quarantined and having businesses shut down. So where we've seen a downturn in restaurants and fitness clubs, there's been an uptick. Actually a surge in businesses that do sanitization, sterilization, cleaning, stuff that plays to what we're all thinking about right now. How clean is the surface that I'm touching? How clean is the office that I'm working in? These are things that are obviously as relevant and front and center as they could be right now, but they will stay. I mean, even once this thing goes away, we all will think about how clean things are. So one of the brands that I'm really, really excited about is called Bactronics, that we franchised originally in 2015. We sold 6 franchises for them. They do sterilization. He is this genius, kind of mad scientist guy who created all these patents around sterilization, electrostatic spraying, kind of this high-tech way to disinfect a surface in an area. And he was always successful, but nothing compared to what's happened since coronavirus. And in the last week, we've brought on 30 new people who have put deposits down on territories, and it's going gangbusters. Everyone and anyone who is in the service business is excited about becoming a part of his model, leveraging his technology and getting into business with him.
So what does that look like as a franchisee? If somebody's interested in doing something like that, what does it look like? The capital outlay, is it a truck and chemicals? What is it?
So the way that the franchise model works is you pay a fee to get access to someone's model and brand, and for him, his franchise fee is $35,000. He's letting people put a deposit down on that and make payments to try to even make it a more aggressive offer. You need to have a basic vehicle like a Ford Transit, which you could finance. You could put a couple $1,000s down on a lease. The equipment and the inventory all in is $19,000, and the rest of your money would go towards marketing and promotions and working capital. But legitimately, if your credit's okay, and you can finance these things, this is a business you can get into for less than $10,000.
Yeah, you've got the SBA out there with all kinds of great offers right now.
Huge potential when it comes to lending. And if we rewind 10 years and look back at 08 and 09, the franchise market has kind of followed the stock market. It has surged in the last 10, 12 years. It's grown like crazy. The disadvantage we had back in 08 and 09 is they weren't lending. No one was lending. It was really hard to get money. There were a lot of people out of work and great candidates and human capital, but they couldn't get money a lot of times to start businesses. Now, what's going to be different here as we come out of this coronavirus thing is there's great people and access to capital. It's the perfect formula for entrepreneurship and franchise stuff.
That's great. Chris, it's great having you on here. I want to get you back on about every week and talk about some of the things you've got going on, talk about entrepreneurship, how people can actually start their own business, not be reliant on a job. Again, a lot of these jobs aren't coming back. Where do people find you?
Go to my website. It's www.FMSFranchise.com, Franchise Marketing Systems. And Kent, love being here. Love the opportunity to talk with you. Anytime you'd like me to come back, I'll be here.
Chris, you're a great buddy. Thank you so much. You're making a lot of people successful.
I appreciate it, Kent. Great to talk to you.
All right, brother. See you soon.
Bye.